Hello, and today we're going to be reviewing the Hart Hpwl01 20v LED work light. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, as usual, starting off at the bottom of the tool, we have the 20-volt battery slot. The battery slot will accept any of Hart's 20-volt batteries, and overall it does a fairly decent job at keeping the batteries secure. There is a little bit of wiggle, but there isn't so much that you would be worried about the battery accidentally falling out or becoming loose or just damaging the connectors. So overall, the battery slot on this particular tool does get a pass. Okay, next up we have the 2x4 clamp. Now the 2x4 clamp works great for clamping onto 2x4s, and that's about it. The width of the 2x4 clamp is obviously about the same width as a 2x4, maybe just a little bit under it, so it will have the friction to lock in place since it isn't a true clamp. It's just two pieces of plastic that have been spaced about the same as the 2x4. Overall, the clamp seems to work fairly well, and the two pieces of plastic are long enough that you can actually tilt the light a little bit in either to your left or to your right in order to angle it more at your work area if needed. So overall, it seems to work fairly decently. I will say that I personally would have preferred maybe a little bit different design just so that it would be a little bit more universal and you might be able to use it in a couple of other scenarios. But overall, if you're looking to put this on a 2x4, say in your attic or in your basement, this is fairly effective and it works fairly decently, so it gets a pass. Just keep in mind that if you are angling it to your left or to your right, to not pull it down so much that it would fall off. Okay, next up we have the LED light hinge. Now the hinge on this particular light is not adjustable, meaning you can't tighten it or loosen it, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but at the same time I haven't had any issues with it, and I've been using it for over a year on two different lights, so overall I've been fairly happy with the performance, even if you can adjust it. Now I will say that if it does end up loosening over time, you might be able to pop the caps off of the hinge and manually tighten it, but that will probably void your warranty and it'll probably break those plastic blue caps, so that's probably not something you want to do. But like I said, I've been using it for over a year now at this point, and I haven't had any issues, and it stays in place right where you put it, so I think it gets a pass, even if I would have personally preferred it to be a little bit more adjustable. Okay, next up we have the LED light panel. Now the LED light panel features 30 LED beads that are spaced about 3/4 of an inch apart on a 5x5 grid. Overall, I am very happy with just the overall performance of this light panel, and the LED beads seem to be of a high quality since I'm not really getting any flickering when I'm shooting video on the highest setting, so it gets a pass. The LED panel is rated at 1,500 lumens, and I have to say this does seem to be fairly accurate, although I don't have a way to absolutely test this. But judging by other work lights I have, I would say that it is in that range, and I will give it a pass there. So overall, this LED work light seems to be a fairly high quality little light source, and it passes with flying colors. And last but not least, we have the power button. The power button is how you turn on the light, as well as cycle through all the different options and turn off the light, obviously. First up, you have the highest setting, followed by the medium setting, then the low setting, and then the light will turn off. Overall, the power button is made out of a high quality silicone or rubber, I'm not sure which one, but it does a good job of keeping the switch protected, and overall the switch underneath the silicone or rubber does feel like a fairly high quality switch, so overall it gets a pass. Okay, without a battery, the light weighs about 509 grams, which is a little over a pound, which is fairly light when it comes to a work light. And with a 4 amp hour battery, the light weighs 1,139 grams, which is a little over 2.5 pounds. So overall, it's a fairly light little light, no pun intended. And if you compare that against a similar Ryobi light that weighs 1,616 grams, which is a little over 3.5 pounds, that's about 1.5 pounds lighter. So overall, the Hart is definitely a much lighter light. Okay, let's go through the pros and cons real quick. And the first pro is bright. Overall, this is a very bright light, and it does an excellent job of illuminating your work area, whether you're working in a garage, basement, underneath a car, in an RV, in any kind of enclosed space. This will do a great job of illuminating whatever you're working on, and so this is a pro in my opinion. 2x4 clamp. Overall, the 2x4 clamp is definitely a very useful feature, and you can slightly angle it from side to side. Although if they had made it a little bit deeper, it would have been a little bit easier to do that, but it still can do it, and so in my opinion, this is a pro. 3 modes. You have your high, you have your medium, you have your low. That is about the perfect number of modes because you won't have to cycle through 50 gazillion different options, and you won't have to deal with an annoying strobe function that could give you a seizure. So quite frankly, I'm perfectly happy with the number of modes, and so that's a pro in my opinion. Compact. Overall, this is a very compact work light, which means that you'll be able to store it and transport it much easier than a normal sized work light. And so in my opinion, this is a pro. And last but not least on the pro list, we have the price. Coming in at $39.88, this is a very affordable work light if you've ever shopped work lights. Now, Hart also makes a slightly more expensive model, which has a brighter LED lumen count, and you can plug it into an extension cord for unlimited runtime. But for me personally, I would rather go with a cheaper model, simply because it's more compact and it's cheaper in cost. So yeah, moving on. No tripod mount. Yeah, I know I'm kind of spoiled, but I like lights that have tripod mounts, and they don't cost that much money to install or to add to something. So in my opinion, this is a little bit of a con. You can mount it on a nail, but you don't always have a nail that you can mount it on. So yeah, this is a little bit of a con in my opinion. And last but not least, no hanging hook. No hanging hook is included with this particular light, and that is a downside in my opinion. I personally would have preferred having a hanging hook included and not having to supply my own, so this is a con. And that's it for the pros and cons. Final thoughts on this particular work light. Overall, this particular work light is a very high quality work light. The light output is of a high quality. It's good enough to use in video work. And quite frankly, I am also very happy with just the overall compactness of this particular light. There are a few minor things I would change. I probably would add some rubberized texture to it, but you don't really actually need it. And overall, I probably would also add the tripod mount. But other than those two things, I really don't have any other major complaints that would be a downside to purchasing this light over another light. I really do like how compact it is, because it means that you'll be able to transport it very easily and store it very easily. A lot of work lights I've noticed on the market just seem to overly bulky, and they don't need to be as bulky as they are. So at the end of the day, would I recommend this light? Absolutely. If you're invested in the Hart 20V system, I would highly recommend this light. And that is it for this particular video. If you like, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. God bless.